Live, with coverage you can count on. This is News 4 at 4.
Okay, Jimmy, thank you. Well, first the holidays became commercial, then politically correct, but this is taking it a little too far.
Yeah, definitely. A well-known retail chain apologizing today for one of its ads. A photo featuring Christmas trees in the Lowe's holiday catalog labels these trees as family trees, and that sparked an outcry from the American Family Association, which is a conservative group that has led many boycotts against several retailers for using Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. Lowe's says, yeah, it was an error, and they are in fact Christmas trees. You know, you can really liven up your holiday table with live flowers.
Probably too late for your Thanksgiving table, maybe not, but now's the time to start planning for Christmas. Our 5-minute gardener, Debbie Mounts, shows us how.
You know, it's not too soon to start thinking about flowers in your home for the holidays. And how fun would it be to have live flowers growing in the house? Our 5-minute gardener, Debbie Mounts, is going to show us something we can do that's pretty fast and easy.
Yes. Hi, Martha. Hi. Okay, well, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to do we're going to do paper white narcissus, okay, which are very popular during the holidays. And I'm going to do it in 2 different ways. One, I'm going to pot in soil, and then this first one, we're going to put just in water. You can grow them in any container just with water, and I'll teach you.
No hole at the bottom.
No hole in the container. You don't want the water running out. You need the water. Okay. So all I do in this container is in the bottom of the container, I've put some gravel, which is going to hold and stabilize my paper whites. So all I'm doing is just kind of nesting them down into this gravel.
You're making sure they're kind of anchored so they're not floating around.
Exactly.
And so the roots, right, can go through?
Exactly. The roots will go right down into the gravel. Okay. The other thing is the paper whites, the root system on the paper whites is really strong. So you need to make sure that they are well anchored. So I'm just going to tuck them right down in here.
Okay. You want them nice and close together?
You do want them nice and close together for a good show.
Okay.
And they can touch. They don't worry about them touching. They absolutely can touch with no problem whatsoever. Well, that guy's not going to fit, so we're going to leave him out.
Okay.
So you just nest those little guys in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some decorative stone on top of this. I've just used regular gravel in the bottom to stabilize them, but it's not very pretty.
Right.
So we're just going to put something really decorative on top of them. And then spread those around, and then you get this nice shiny.
That's pretty.
Yeah, a little pretty decorative thing for your table.
Okay.
Now you put water in here, but you only want the water to barely touch the bottom of the bulb. Now that's hard to tell, of course, from here, but one of the things that I do is get a popsicle stick, a used popsicle stick, and stick it down in there so I can see how far the water has gone, and pull it out and measure that, and I'll do that later.
Okay, all right.
But anyway,
so
that's what you do.
Just so that it's touching the
just
bottom
barely
of the bulb.
touching the bottom of the bulb.
Halfway out.
If the water comes up along the sides, you can rot out the bulb.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So the next one is this one. Remove this guy out of the way. Now this one, I've already put a screen over the hole in this pot, and I've put the soil in here. Okay. Now these little guys, they also, you don't dig them very deep. You just kind of nest them in there a little bit, and just bring the soil up around, let the tip of their bulb stick out of the soil. Okay. Push them down in there. Okay. And we're going to throw some dirt around them. Okay. And then what we're going to do with this one, which is a really fun thing to do, I love to do, is we're going to put on the top of this, we're going to put some ryegrass seed. So then what happens is the bulbs start growing up, and then the grass is covering the bottom. It looks like it's a meadow or something. It's so pretty.
And this is the rye seed?
That's the rye seed. It's a winter rye, and you can get it, you know, at your local nursery.
And what do you just sprinkle it along the top?
Yeah, I'm just going to sprinkle a pretty solid layer along the top of the soil. I got one more bulb to get in here, and then we will be all set.
Okay, perfect. Oh, that's going to look so pretty with the... Do you need a little dirt there?
I think I'm actually, well, maybe a little bit. Maybe I got my handy assistant here. Don't I love having an assistant?
How's that?
That's perfect. Okay. That's just perfect. So now, what we're going to do is I'm just going to get a little handful of rye seed and just sprinkle it on the top. Yep. Now watering for this, at first, with you got to be careful with this. Use like a spray bottle or something with water, or something like this little watering can that I have, because it is going to, otherwise the seed will float on you. Okay. So now we're going to cover this with a little bit more soil. Okay. Just
you
a
put these in
smidge.
full sun?
No, you put them inside your house.
Oh, but at a window?
In a bright window.
Oh, bright window.
They don't have to have.
No direct sun.
They don't have to have direct sun. They can be even on the interior as long as it's a bright room.
Okay, and about how long will it take for you to see?
You'll start to get shoots. They'll start to come up, within a week.
Okay.
They'll be coming up. And then all you do is you just water this in gently.
And how often do you water once this is established?
Bulbs generally, for the ryegrass seed, I would come along and use a spray bottle every day until the ryegrass germinates. But for the bulbs, I would only water it once a week, thoroughly.
Wow, and by Christmas time, Thanksgiving, you're going to have some gorgeous flowers.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
You got to try this at home. It looks pretty simple, and if I think I can do it, so can you.
All right. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.
Okay, and Debbie's joining us now. Now that segment was shot about 2 weeks ago. So this is that pot that we were talking about, that we were planting that day with the rye seed and the paper white bulbs. Look at how much that's grown in just 2 weeks. When will this actually have flowers, Debbie?
It'll bloom in probably, about 3 weeks, I would say.
So just in time really for Christmas?
Right.
Okay.
And generally the paper whites will start to bloom, and then they bloom for about a month. You know, one will kick in, and then one of its buddies will kick in, and so you have that constant bloom. Now, the one thing I will say about the paper whites is they are fragrant. And you either love the fragrance or you hate it because it's very strong. So you may not want to put this in a tiny bathroom because you'll just be avoiding the,
overwhelming. They're very clean and crisp looking. I love them.
They are. They're beautiful, very elegant flowers.
The other bulb you brought that you want to talk about is the amaryllis.
Right. That's another one that you can do for the holidays. And I brought this bulb, and these are big guys, as you can see, and you just stick them in a pot. I have some flowering down here, but you just put soil like right up to this level right here. And again, you can keep it inside in the house, and you only water it about once a week, and water it thoroughly from the top of the bulb down to the bottom of the root system every time you water. And it gives you these magnificent bulbs.
Yeah, and if you could get a shot, guys, of the amaryllis down there near the table. They're absolutely beautiful, and they come out all colors, don't they?
They do. There's pinks. There's kind of coral colors. The most popular is one called Red Lion, which is a huge, solid red bloom for the holidays. But they do come in a variety of different colors.
But then once the flower's gone, the plant is gone.
Yes and no. What a lot of people don't realize is you can actually take that amaryllis bulb and plant it in your garden, even here in Tucson. If you give it kind of a dappled sunlight area, it'll bloom in May.
Oh, perfect.
In your garden.
So you get another surprise in the spring.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Debbie.
You're very welcome.